I did it, Rich.
I saw that. I was like, "What? Wait, hold on a second." I was getting ready to do everything, and
I was getting, I was getting panicked. Like there was just gonna be a blank screen once we were live. I was like, oh shit, maybe he forgot. I don't know. Maybe he had some
no.
technical.
I was waiting until it went down to like 10, and then flip it up. But
Anyway, guys, how we doing tonight? Rich finally got some backstage access. We finally got some room. Um, Rich is learning on the fly, as we would say in the real world.
oh yeah, hey OJT man, I learned it a long time ago with with radio stuff and editing and production and all that. So uh, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Right, right. And I figure you're the best to do it because you already have massive training on, you know, a lot of technology as to bringing yourself in, knowing ads, knowing commercials, when to hit the re-enter studio button, you know. So,
Yeah, I tell people all the time I know just enough to be dangerous.
so Rich, what we I just talked to my friend Joffrey, big Jets fan, obviously. He's been working 7/12s. I can't blame him for being beat as fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
cop, nurse, fireman, doctor.
Union work.
There you go. That
We
too.
we have a chuckle. He's a pipe layer.
Hey, you
I
guys
know.
make money, man.
We just joke around with them on that one.
Yeah, but them guys make some scratch too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Apparently there was nothing here, so he packed up and got a decent gig in Indiana for a while, and been steady since. So he just moved there.
I've heard it. When I was in Illinois, I spent a little bit of time in Indiana. We would go over and that kind of stuff. We'd spend the weekend in Indianapolis for different things and stuff like that. It's a nice. I mean, it's a very beautiful state. Indianapolis is a nice town.
Wait,
It's not.
he might be in Illinois.
It,
He is. He's like 35 minutes out of South Bend. That's Indiana.
oh, yeah, he's in Indiana, but he's not that far from the Illinois line either. Because it's like,
Right.
if I remember right, it's like an hour 45 from Peoria to South Bend. And if I remember correctly, the state line is about halfway. So he's not far from the state line.
No, but as we just heard him say, he's worried about where Devontae Adams is going to fit in with the Jets. Is he going to be the one? Is he going to be the two? Will he be a slot guy? He also mentioned Mike Williams possibly on the way out now. Um,
Oh yeah. No, Mike Williams, I have no doubt, is on the way out. Um, when you're looking at the fact that you now have Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard and Tyler Conklin, it's you've heard of the third wheel. Well, he's the fourth wheel on the tricycle. Yeah, Mike Williams,
they
and
also
somebody brought up, I heard today, saying that he come to Pittsburgh. No, that's
he's
not what the Steelers need.
no, he's
No,
banged up all the time. He's hurt all the time.
exactly.
No, the Steelers do not need that. We also have two other weapons to worry about besides Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Ty Conklin, Alan Lazard. Let's just add B. Allen and B. Hall in there too as well.
Exactly. It's going to be a challenge for the Steelers defense this week. Um, the good part is there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure Rodgers and Adams know of each other. You and I talked about this last week. We talked about this on open mic the last 2 weeks. It's kind of funny that the hamstring injury, first thing is the hamstring injury has gone away. But
Nice,
secondly, this
nice.
deal was made. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers runs that team. I don't care what anybody tries to tell anybody else. Aaron Rodgers runs. Woody Johnson doesn't even run that team. The owner, Aaron Rodgers, makes the decisions on that team.
It's like a LeBron James all over again.
Did I not say that on open mic a couple weeks ago that Aaron Rodgers is the NFL's version of LeBron?
But I kind of like it.
I think it's ridiculous.
I think, I mean, hopefully it makes the team better.
Okay, here's where my thing is.
I know we wanted Devontae Adams. I know we need a receiver, but we didn't get him. Obviously, we did not get
No,
him.
no, no. I'm not even going that route. Devontae Adams makes that team better the minute he steps on the field. Because in essence, you're taking Mike Williams out, inserting Devontae Adams. That's not my argument. My argument is this is not your dad's Aaron Rodgers. This is not league MVP Aaron Rodgers. This is not, Super Bowl NFC championship quarterback Aaron Rodgers anymore. He's not as mobile. The arm strength isn't there. I mean, this is not the same guy.
Magically,
And
just
huh?
like it might magically return, just like the hamstring went away.
I don't
At
I
least
don't know that you can.
for a couple games. You get that excitement. You got your buddy back, who you played with in Green Bay, put up great numbers. You build that. You find that strength, like a woman having pregnancy, and she's squeezing your hand, and you're like, "Who is this one?" But it
You
goes
have
away.
a point.
But it
You
goes
have a
away.
point, Adam. But here's something you got to remember. Father Time is undefeated. I mean, when you sit there and look at the man's 40 years old, and there is a marked drop off in all quarterbacks once they get to that 38 to 40 range. Even old Tom Shady, he showed some signs of slippage. You get guys that get close to that age or over the age of 40, the arm strength goes away, the mobility goes away, the ability to read the defenses like they used to isn't there anymore. Those quick reflexes aren't there anymore. It's not a knock on him. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know this. Depending who you talk to, he's top 5, top 10, top 15 quarterback of all time. Um, that's not even in question. But for this particular year, I think the question on the offense is A, the line, and B, Rodgers. And it might end up being A, Rodgers, and B, the line, because he's not as mobile as he was, and that line is not great.
I get it. I get it.
It's
I'm
not the
curious.
days.
I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I mean, I really am.
I am too. Everybody's talking about, oh, we got Tyron Smith. They got Tyron Smith. Okay, they got the Aaron Rodgers version of Tyron Smith. I watched Tyron Smith play in Dallas for 14 years. The dude is an absolute monster. No question about it. He's also 37 years old. He's also had knee and back issues for the last 5 or 6 years that have made him not the player that he was before. And I'm sure he's going to see a face full of TJ Watt, and that's going to not be a good day for Tyron Smith. Sorry, it's just not.
I didn't see any other. Um, I didn't see. I didn't even look at anything today. We were so damn busy. Like when finally got a chance to look, I was just so damn busy all of a sudden. Like like when we had a chance to calm down today, we just got to rush, and then we calm down. Then like you get a minute to breathe, and all of a sudden, boom, back at it. So I did not get a chance. I know everyone keeps putting these fake pictures of Max Crosby in the Detroit airport, and I laugh every time.
Well, I would. Okay, and Evan, if you're watching, please jump on this one. I'm not so sure as much about Max Crosby. Would the Browns entertain a deal for Myles Garrett?
Oof. I don't know. That would have been a question for last night at the open mic.
Because the Browns are cutting bait on people too. They sent Amari Cooper away. Deshaun Watson hasn't. Let's be honest, folks. Deshaun Watson's head has not been in the game all season. He ever and this you can put whichever on in whichever order you want. The allegations and him getting the Mondo paycheck. Since those two things happened, his head has been nowhere near a football game. And that's just not the Deshaun Watson that played in Houston. Is he a $240 million quarterback? Absolutely. No questions asked. That guy, before he tore his ACL and had all the issues and all that, was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. No question.
He made Brandon Cooks.
Now, huh?
He made Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
Brandon Cooks.
He was no questions asked one of the best in the league. Now he's a mess. Um, is it him letting his personal stuff get to him too much? Is it the fact that I've voiced this opinion numerous times and people may be getting sick of it, but it keeps coming up? He got his money. He's guaranteed all his money. So it doesn't matter if he performs or not.
Just like that.
He's still got 240 mil in his bank account. So whether he plays like complete trash or if he wins 7 Super Bowls, doesn't matter. The only person that knows the answer to that question is Deshaun Watson. But looking at what he's done on the field, he don't care. He just doesn't care anymore.
No, everything's junk thrown up there.
Do what?
Everything it just looks sloppy. It's so sloppy.
And we've heard the statement. Kids use your muffler ears. Shit rolls downhill. It starts at your quarterback position. Offense and defense, the players on that team, the quarterback is the leader of the team. And he's not playing right. Let's be honest. How many times have we heard Myles Garrett's name this year in highlights? The last several years, it's been, Garrett with 2.5 sacks in this game and, 2 sacks and a fumble recovery in this game and blah, 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 blah. We haven't heard that this year. He hasn't had those Myles Garrett type games that we've come to know and expect from one of the top players in the NFL.
Because he knows he didn't deserve that last year.
Say again?
Because he knows he didn't deserve that award last year.
Well, probably not, but I still stand by my statement that if you look at the top defensive players in the NFL, and this is in no particular order, your top 3 are going to be TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons. And everybody else is competing for 4th, whether it's either Bosa, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, whoever. They're all playing for 4th. And until and unless somebody makes a move to make something different, that's the way it's going to stay. And I'll tell you what, somebody that was sticking his head into that particular mix before he got hurt recently is Kayvon Thibodeau in New York with the Giants.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson too.
Well, I think Hutchinson was already there, but man, that broken leg, and he knew it. You could see they even showed on the broadcast that he lipped, it's broken.
So I think Dak heard it because you could tell by everyone said by Dak's reaction he knew it.
Yeah.
And Dak knew that last year, so he knows.
That was bad. If you haven't had the chance to see it, I don't suggest you see it.
Is Aiden still in Dallas, or did they get him home? Because he went straight to the surgery room in Dallas Hospital.
That's a good question. I don't know. I can find out though. But I thought I read something about he was.
It's been a couple days.
Yeah, but you're right. They would have to send him in a ride kind of a thing because this quick, he's not going to be able to fly.
Well, he was under.
Um,
He would. He was. I don't even know how far he got, but they probably put him straight on an ambulance because they said he went under surgery almost at the end of the fourth quarter. They were saying he was already in surgery.
oh yeah, yeah. They have an ambulance at the stadium. I can tell you this because I've been in the bowels of AT&T Stadium more than once.
I know they have.
And right
No.
right as you go in the tunnel, on
Oh yeah.
both sides, right as you go in the tunnel, there's an AMR ambulance. So I wouldn't be least bit surprised if that if the truck if the cart didn't take him right onto a gurney in the ambulance and out the door.
Yeah. They took him right away. They already said like
Yeah,
as soon as the game was over, they already said Aiden Hutchinson was already in surgery.
yeah, they probably either took him to Baylor Medical or Arlington Memorial. Um, More than likely, it was probably Baylor Medical, but it could have been Arlington Memorial. Arlington Memorial is right down the street from the stadium. According to this, there are I don't see any reports of him having come back to Detroit. Oh, here you go. He'll be returning to Detroit end of the week and is expected to make a full recovery, which makes sense because they want to make sure there's no chance of blood clots. Um, so
But Miles Garrett has 4 sacks this year, Rich.
yeah, see, that's not Miles Garrett. I mean, we're what 6 games in now. Normally, this time of year, he's got 8 or 9 sacks by now. Um, so he's not having a Miles Garrett type year,
He's only 10 off of last year. He only had 14 last year.
right? But even saying only 14, how many guys in the league had 14 sacks last year? 5 or 6.
I don't know. I don't know, Rich. I was just looking up Miles Garrett.
Right, but it goes back to what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's kind of that statement of 80% of Miles Garrett is better than 95% of the NFL. You know,
Oh,
um,
I
you,
get
you
it.
expect certain things from certain guys. Last year sacks. Okay, in 2023, let's see, 2023 regular season sack leader. Okay, T.J. Watt led the league. Surprise, with 19. Miles Garrett was tied for 7th with 14. And we say only 14. you know, he's still top 7 in the league. And we're saying only because he wasn't in the top 1 or 2 like he normally is. It's crazy. It really is. And some of the guys that are on that list with him, I mean, they're hurt too. Josh Hines Allen in Jacksonville's hurt. Garrett's not hurt, but he's not playing well. He tied with Micah Parsons, who's hurt. 10th last year was Montez Sweat, who's hurt. And Aiden Hutchinson was half sack behind that, who's done. And Kayvon Thibodeau was tied with him. So, you've got a lot of those premier pass rushers that aren't even playing right now because they're hurt. But when you look at we've talked a lot about the Steelers and dealing with the Jets offense. The Jets defense is nothing to sneeze at, man. I got a funny feeling George Pickens is going to get a very healthy dose of Sauce Gardner all night long, and that could be very bad news for Gardner and for Fields. But I think it also could open up some things for the rest of the receiving core, whether it be Fryermuth, whether it be I keep always wanting to say Robinson, but that's not right. Van Jefferson. Uh, Allen Robinson wore 11 for how many years? So, um, but it's going to open things up for some of those guys. Um, I just want to, where did this come from with Ray McCloud? Dude goes to Atlanta, and all of a sudden he's become a good receiver. Where the heck was all this when he was in Pittsburgh?
They didn't utilize him right. Atlanta saw what he did in San Francisco, and they've seen that he can actually do stuff,
Didn't
and
seem like he did. Yeah, but it didn't seem like he did anything in San Francisco either, except return kicks.
he had a couple big catches. But Atlanta saw that, and obviously they saw something in him, and now they're letting him sign.
I mean, him and Kirk Cousins have clicked. I mean, just boom, boom, boom since the Steeler game. He's put up good numbers pretty much every game.
Are you glad he didn't play the Falcons at full speed like they are now?
Say again.
Are you glad we didn't play the Falcons in full speed like they are now?
Well, yeah. I mean, I still think the Falcons are a good team. I don't think they're the best team in that division. I still think Tampa's the class of the division. Um, but flip side of that, their offense is clicking. Cousins is really starting to use Drake London, who was doing absolutely nothing with our under Arthur Smith. Bijan's having a solid year. Getting Cousins in there made a massive difference. Um, Cousins is one of those guys, and he came out the same year Robert Griffin did. He got drafted by Washington in the third round when Robert Griffin got drafted in the first. And everybody gave Washington grief for that, but they knew what they had, and they knew one of the two was going to work out. Unfortunately, both of them worked out, and then Robert got hurt.
I know you're a big RG3. I get it.
I am, man. I'm a big fan of RG3, the player, and I'm a big fan of RG3, the guy.
I don't know. I
So, and I think he's a hell of an analyst. ESPN, when they let him go, I'm amazed nobody's picked him up. I thought he did spectacular doing color on those college games.
That's because he started going political, Rich, instead of just sticking to sports.
He wasn't getting political on the broadcast.
Right, but he was all over his Twitter feeds. And unfortunately, that's one of the main reasons.
Everybody.
I know it's so hard to stay out of it right now for the last 8 years. And I mean, everyone has said something somewhere down the line that says, yo, we don't want this, or we want this, or we don't want this.
Right. I mean, every person at every network everywhere has done something political. Stephen A. Smith talks about politics during his podcast as much as anybody else does, politics or otherwise.
But is it
so the politics couldn't be the reason.
On a network.
Say what?
Is Stephen A. Smith on his own podcast, or is he on a network?
No, it was a Stephen A. Smith podcast.
So it's his own.
It's not his own thing. Yeah.
But Stephen A. Smith's following is huge, so
yeah,
sure, talk about whatever he wants.
I mean, all I'm saying is, I can't see how Robert's political views had anything to do with that.
Anyway, Rich,
could be, but
I was praising our head coach, and now I'm questioning my head coach.
Gotta calm down on the lack of Tomlin Kool-Aid you're drinking over there, buddy.
Listen, we finally beat a bad team, and then he goes and does what he does all week right now. I am starting Russell Wilson on Sunday Night Football when I have a quarterback that's 4-2.
But that's not what he said. He said he'll be available to start. He has not said that Russ is going to start. And I heard Nick Wright say something today that I heard it and I went, that's pretty damn genius if this is what he's doing. He's putting it out there that
Steelers
it's
give
possible that Russ could be the quarterback.
all week to make his season debut and start Sunday night against the New York Jets.
Where'd you get that from?
Tom Passanino, of NFL Network.
And he said it's definite.
That's what he's saying.
Everything that I've seen from the Steelers themselves
This was 5 hours
has
ago.
said that Russ is available to start, but not that he's the starter. And I liked what Nick Wright was saying, and it made perfect sense. He brought up the fact that if you bring up the idea that there's a possibility that Russell Wilson could start this game or play in this game, now the Jets have to prepare for two quarterbacks, not one, because they don't know who they're getting. If the Steelers start Russell Wilson, it's the dumbest move. I said this last night. The dumbest move in Mike Tomlin's tenure as a Steeler coach.
Like I just said, I praised the guy for once in my life, and now I'm ready to shoot him. Not ready to shoot him,
But I understand what you're saying too. And that's why I say it's the worst move, because someone explained to me, and please hit us up. If you're on Twitter or Twitch or whatever, checking us out, please tell me, what has Justin Fields done to justify not starting Sunday night?
it's not Mike
10
Tomlin.
touchdowns, one
No,
pick.
yeah.
He's 4-2. He has made 0 dumb plays. Someone please tell me what he's done to not start Sunday.
It's not Mike Tomlin's guy. Russell Wilson's been Mike Tomlin's guy the whole time. Doesn't
Be,
matter. Doesn't matter.
well, but he's not Tomlin's guy. And this was something else that I found out today. Sierra, Russell Wilson's wife, is apparently she rubs elbows with the head muckety muck from some company called Acrisure. And they said they helped set up the meeting to get Russ in with Rooney. So, and for those folks that don't know, Acrisure has the naming rights on the stadium since Heinz let it go a couple of years ago. Although it's still Heinz Field to me. And that it's more that Russ is a Acrisure president of the team guy than a Tomlin guy. Now, the flip side of that is Tomlin going to let the front office tell him how to run the team? We all know what somebody like Parcells or Jimmy Johnson or somebody like that says whenever that happens. Go back to your office and let me coach the team.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Tomlin's got that.
That's what you got to wonder, though. Does Tomlin have the stroke to be able to say that? Because, like I say, you're 4-2. If you were 2-4, different discussion. You're 4-2. You're one play away from being 5-1.
I don't know.
It just doesn't jive.
I don't know why they're doing this.
It doesn't jive, and I will be very surprised and very disappointed if number 2 is not behind center Sunday night to start that game.
I don't think he will be. Listen, my excitement for Tomlin is going to be run out for sure if this happens. And I haven't been excited about a win by Tomlin in a long time. But beating the shit out of the Raiders got me a little bit excited. But then the following practice, Russell Wilson started. Tell me how that makes sense, Rich.
But like I say, that's what's got me. Justin Fields has done nothing that justifies taking him out of that starting spot. If this was the Raiders and Gardner Minshew got pulled for Aiden O'Connell last week, okay, you could justify that. The Raiders had struggled, Minshew struggled, da 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 da. Fields has just gotten better each week. The numbers get better each week, that kind of thing. The confidence builds each week. It has zero logic to it.
Zero.
Yeah. Zero. Less than one.
Oh man, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. I don't like it. Makes no bloody sense to me whatsoever.
You're 100% right. There is no. I don't know. It will definitely be interesting to see what happens when we find out in the next day or two what's going down, because like I say, if Wilson starts,
And
it
this
will
guy,
be the worst move in Tomlin's tenure, and I'm going on record saying that.
look, you're putting, so you're not even giving Justin Fields first team reps this week to even get more in line with his team. And I know they're professional football players, but still, this is a team game.
True.
And now all of a sudden, you're going from a barely runner now to a pocket quarterback versus a scrambler. So this is lining everyone up in a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean it just makes absolutely no sense. It really doesn't. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. It's going to be a interesting next couple of days in the Berg as we wait to see what happens with this. Um,
I just think it's dumb that you're taking your main quarterback away from first team to even practice. And I know in the Al and
uh,
I were up practice. Practice.
yeah, but let me
But
let me ask you something though as we get closer to the trade deadline, because the NFL trade deadline is coming up, and I got an idea. I got actually a couple. It's on November 5th, so we got a couple of weeks. But I got two names.
are you telling me the trade deadline is election Tuesday?
No. Yeah, 3 o'clock election day.
What a wild freaking day this is gonna be.
Hmm.
Back to politics again. There it is.
Well,
But
but
that's wild. I guess trying to keep the attention away. Huh?
maybe so. But I had two names that I was going to throw out there. And again, everybody, if you give us your thoughts about this, if you got a question about it or whatever, we keep saying the Steelers need a receiver. One of these guys I think is easier to get than the other one. But what would your thoughts be on Cortland Sutton or Jalen Waddle?
What are you giving up for Waddle?
Waddle's probably going to cost you. Well, I mean, if Cooper costs a 3, Waddle will probably cost you a 4, maybe a 5.
I think Cleveland just wanted that guy off the books.
Let's shoot high. Waddle costs you a 3.
Going on third year next year.
Your third next year, yeah.
Played behind Cheetah. Could be a possible number one.
Right.
Could be. Could be a 1A, 1B, like he is now in Miami. Actually, no one's 1A, 1B in Miami right now.
Well, no, but Tyreek Hill's the one. I mean, come on.
No, I'm just saying, like, no, like that is a horrible team right now.
No, you're right. You're right. And I've got Tyreek Hill on both my fantasy teams.
Yeah, me too. I got him in one of them. I just tried trading them. No, in one of them.
I understand.
That was in Dynasty. I don't care. I'll keep him. Miami's
But
bound to get a quarterback, right? They're going to bring in back, or they're going to get the Daniels kid from USF, or I mean, they're going to have to start looking at quarterback because Huntley's not your answer. Nor is Skylar Moore or Thompson. Skylar Moore, he might be better than both of them.
yeah.
um,
Well, but I mean, what would you think
Miami,
of either
I
of those
think
coming?
Miami,
The Steelers making a deal for either one.
I think Miami would want a 2 for Waddle though. I just do. I just do.
I
Look,
don't
they
know.
they know the two top dogs are off the table. And just because they went for nothing,
Mm,
they were the bottom dweller trying to get rid of them. I think Miami would push for a 2.
well, the Jets gave up a conditional 3, right?
Right.
I can't see how Miami can ask for more for
Okay, but
Jalen Waddle than either one of those teams asked for their guys.
you also have to remember both of those guys that got traded were veterans, over 6, over 7 years. Waddle's only been
So
in
is
the league.
Waddle.
Waddle's only been in the league for what, 4 years, 3 years?
No.
I think so.
Jalen Waddle is well, he's 25. I think he's got 6 years.
He didn't come out when he was 18.
He has played. This is his 5th year. 4th year. I'm sorry, 4th year. You're right. So yeah, this is his 4th season. I don't know. Even if I had to give up the 2 for Waddle, I could legitimately justify that. A
That's
2 for Sutton, I don't think so, but a 2 for Waddle, I could see that. And of course, you're bringing Sutton back to Pittsburgh.
Is there no one else available?
At this exact second, I mean, sit there and think about it. As far as as far as right now, um, you go team by team. Who would you have available? Buffalo's not going to have anybody. Waddle's the only one in Miami. New England doesn't have anybody. The Jets don't have anybody
Look at
unless you
Cleveland.
want Mike Thomas.
Would you look at
Uh,
Cleveland and probably throw them a third or fourth for Jerry Duty?
would
Right?
Cleveland make a deal with the Steelers?
That's the other question. I mean, I don't know how much they're getting rid of shit. I mean, they already sent a pretty big receiver to a pretty big quarterback in the actual overall division.
Well, yeah, I mean, they sent it to someone in the conference, but send it to someone and their biggest rival at the same time, I can't even see any conceivability of Judy. Um, Houston's not trading anybody. Indy's not getting rid of anybody. Jacksonville, I mean, could you conceivably make Christian Kirk's going to take at least a 2?
I mean,
Might take a 1.
Gabe Davis is finally looking better in that offense. It only took him 8 games to get adapted, but he's starting to look a little better. He has had a touchdown in the last 2 games.
Yeah, but I'm not if I'm going headstrong into something like that, I'm going after Kirk, not Davis.
Gabe Davis would just be like another Van Jefferson.
Right.
in that in that in that
Um, it,
that area, Rich. Like not too big, not too little, but you know the name.
right. No, no, no. I'm with you. That's why I say I think Kirk would be the 1A kind of thing. Same thing. Tennessee. I don't know what the hell Tennessee's doing with Calvin Ridley.
Nothing.
Um,
That's what I wanted to look up earlier.
they're just not doing anything with him. Heck, you might be able to get Ridley for a
So,
4.
so if you're a Texans fan, if you're a Titans fan right now, and
Yeah.
your main starter is 0-4, why is he still starting?
You mean your quarterback?
Yeah.
I got an even better question. If you're 0-4, why have you not called Ryan Tannehill?
Well, Mason Rudolph got their only win.
Okay. And we all know Mason Rudolph is worthless.
Well, he got a win, and Will Levis got 0 wins.
Okay, that just means Will Levis is more worthless than Mason Rudolph.
Right, but I'm just
That's all
saying,
that means.
why is Mason Rudolph not starting?
I don't know. Probably because they're trying to prove the rookie investment in Levis. They've got to see something. But
Yeah,
I just don't understand why you didn't re-sign Tannehill.
I don't know what you're seeing in Will Levis. I've not seen anything since they drafted him.
I think they screwed it up. They should have kept Tannehill, drafted Levis, and then let Tannehill work with Levis for a year or so and wean Levis into the
They
system.
don't want to work with Levis.
They
That's
just
the other.
threw him in there, and he's deer in headlights, man.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand. Like, your team got to win with the backup. Why not let the backup continue?
Yeah. We were talking about Tennessee and we were talking about Calvin Ridley. There is a 6'2" gorilla in the room in Tennessee that could be interesting for the Steelers
Trevon
that you could
Burks.
probably get for nothing. D Hop, yeah.
Trevon Burks, one of my favorite rookies coming out of the class, and then he went to Tennessee, and I was like, why?
No, I'm talking about D Hop, DeAndre Hopkins.
I
Huh?
think Burks got more potential.
Oh, I mean, D Hop's 32. Um,
Trevon Burks is 6'4". They don't utilize
interesting.
him. They don't use him enough.
Uh, Possible. I mean, they've got some talent on that team.
And they don't. They do.
Burks is 6'2", by the way, not 6'4".
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But still, they don't utilize anything. The only thing they utilize well is Tony Pollard, and that's because Will Levis can't throw a ball.
Right.
I always said to give Mason a chance. Not in Pittsburgh because I thought he was. I thought they killed him in Pittsburgh.
Rudolph, I he's another one. I
He over
watched play
his,
the entire
over
run at Oklahoma State.
he overextended his stay here, and they killed him.
Yeah, but I watched him play his entire run at Oklahoma State, man. He was not that good there, let alone coming into the NFL. Um, you know, I'm just like, what, and when the Steelers got a hold of him, I was like, can't we get somebody better? Um, that's why I was just so flustered the last couple of years with the quarterback position because you sit there and you're going Trubisky, Rudolph, hell, they may as well have brought Tommy Maddox and Neil O'Donnell back and just made it an entire Mongolian cluster. Um, the I just I haven't understood. Honestly, I haven't understood since Ben left. What in the world these guys are doing with the quarterback position? Next year, I mean, that's like everybody's saying, okay, well, you're not going to have Russ. You probably
Two,
won't have Russ next year.
We
You
do go
know,
like
what do you do if,
before
huh?
we do go like 22 years before we get another good quarterback.
No, we're not going to go that long.
Well, let's see. It went Bradshaw, and then clusterfuck, 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 clusterfuck. Ben Roethlisberger. So what was that?
Yeah.
16 years.
Well, you did have O'Donnell in there who did get us to a Super Bowl um, by the defense.
AFC champion.
Um, and an AFC championship game that Gary Plummer pulled our hearts out because we should have been playing San Francisco that year instead
Tony
of
Martin down
San
the
Diego.
sideline. Tony Martin down the sideline with 30 seconds left.
Well, but Plummer's the one that knocked the pass away in the end zone on the last play.
Right, but they should have still stopped that touchdown pass.
They should have. But, we're talking about next year's free agency. Tell me if any of these names just trip your trigger outside of Justin Fields.
For us,
And,
or
and
like,
some of these guys, are probably going to get re-signed by the team they're with. Sam Darnold, maybe a 1-year wonder. Zach Wilson,
I think they'll
I'll
sign
say
him back.
no on that one right now.
I'm saying Zach
Huh?
Wilson, the free agent. I don't.
Wilson's a
I
free agent at
love
the end of the
Zach
season.
Wilson
Yes,
at BYU. I'm going to be honest. I thought Zach Wilson was the best quarterback coming out of that draft.
you did.
I did, and then he went to the Jets, and I was like, this guy's going to blow balls.
Yeah, I was lukewarm on him. I didn't think he was going to be great. I didn't think he was going to be anything special. I didn't think he was going to be horrible though. Trey Lance, good to see Zach Wilson. Jacoby Brissett, no. Taylor Heineke, no. Marcus Mariota, no. Drew Lock, no. Former Baylor Bear, Jarrett Stidham, no. Andy Dalton, no.
I bet you. I bet you
Justin
Carolina
Fields.
resigns him just.
Say what?
I bet you Carolina resigns Andy Dalton.
I would, but he's going to be 38 next year.
He's giving that team hope.
He has. Jameis, Mac Jones, Jimmy G. I mean, there's Cooper Rush. There is nobody out there that just reaches out and says, "Oh, this guy can be the guy." No, no. Now, could they draft a guy?
Not where unless we tank. We can get Beck. We can get Daniels. We can get Archie.
Okay. A, no. B, no. And C,
You don't
no.
like Beck out of Georgia?
Don't like who?
Beck out of Georgia?
I honestly don't think he's the best NFL ready quarterback in that conference. I like the kid out of Ole Miss. I think he is the most NFL ready quarterback in that conference. I really do. I really like him. I love Dylan Gabriel. I think Dylan
Good.
Gabriel has, and
No, that,
understand where I'm going with this. Dylan Gabriel has a bigger Baker Mayfield written all over him.
he'll probably go early.
Gabriel might go number one, man.
Maybe. I mean, Caleb Williams is shutting a lot of critics up.
I'm still critical.
I know. I know. I'm not falling in love with the guy. I never have. But you know what I
The
mean?
team,
He's producing. Hasn't
he is, but
producing against
he
bad.
is.
That's what I like. I like that part. I like that part that he's producing against bad teams because that's what you're supposed to do.
Um, yeah, I guess if you say so. Yeah.
Oh, you're not supposed to beat bad teams.
No, you're supposed to beat bad teams. I get that, but let's see what he does when they play good teams. The
Right.
bad part is they don't have a lot of good teams on their schedule this year because they got a last place schedule. They
Let's
do
see.
have the Commanders this week, and I think he's going to get a reality check this week.
Let's see what happens whenever
Um,
we have to go to Lambeau in the snow. Let's see what happens because
exact
we saw what happened to Caleb Williams last time he was in snow, and
right.
that was Notre Dame, and he was absolutely horrendous. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
not going on him, but he's producing against bad teams, so that tells me that he's doing something right, and
well, I think
that's
it's
all.
more the people around him are doing something right, but I'm with you. Um, they've got the Commanders this week. In 3 weeks, they have the Packers at home. Then they have the Vikings. Then they're at Detroit, at the 49ers, at the Vikings, Detroit, Seattle, at Green Bay.
And San
So,
Francisco just got Hufanga back today too, and
yeah,
Tre'Davious Ward, and they
Chris Ward.
signed Amos from Green Bay. Um, they're San Francisco is trying to get that secondary back to in some kind of shape, but
They are.
The loss of Hufanga is killing that team right
It is. It is, but I just know that when he gets to that Packers game on the 17th, from there on, it's gonna be a dog for him. I mean, the next 3 weeks, the Commanders,
This
eh,
is going to be a good game.
I don't
This is
think he'll
gonna
do well.
but I
But
think
then they got the Cardinals and the Patriots after that. Those are two bad teams. They should beat them up.
the Cardinals ain't doing bad
Cardinals defense is horrid, man.
with their
Their
winning.
offense is putting points up, but their defense is rough. Yeah, but they're winning 35, 31, 38, 35. That's what I'm saying. Caleb will put up numbers against those guys because their defense sucks.
They're still exciting games.
Right. I don't know about you. I'm one of those guys that can be really excited with a 41-38 game or a 13-10 game. It just depends how it's played.
I don't know. I've fallen into the trap of high scoring games. Like if this was like back in the early 2000s and we were watching the Ravens Steelers games where it was a dog fight, maybe 13-10 like you said,
Mhm.
21-17, those were dog fights, man. Those guys, that was a dog fight. Those games you couldn't turn your head for 1 second. You didn't want to get up and piss, you didn't want to get up and get water. You just wanted to sit there and go, I don't want to miss a damn play because one of these guys is going to knock each other out.
Mhm.
That was some great football until the Heinz rule got rolled in, and then they played flag football, and they're getting worse at it now. And but that was fun. That was fun football to watch. Those were the good games.
Absolutely.
7-0, 3-0. You knew they were just playing smash mouth football.
Mhm.
And me and Matt
Yeah.
used to talk about this all the time. Um,
Yeah.
whenever I know Matt's not with us anymore, and he's doing his own thing with Daniel Wilcox and all them guys over there. But like when we had Rice on, or afterwards, I got to talk to him, and he said, "Yeah, I marked them Steeler games because I knew that was what I was looking forward to." And that was just it was just awesome to hear that that's what players because we look forward to it as fans. We're like, when do we play the Ravens?
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah. I mean,
they also look forward to
there.
that. That made it more like intensified for me because I was like, okay, so they do love this matchup.
Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean there were those rivalries in the NFL that you knew when they were playing each other, they were going to beat each other's brains in, and it was going to be probably a low-scoring game. Cowboys, Redskins, Dolphins, Jets, Steelers, Browns, you know, for Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, for that matter. Um, you had those games, San Francisco, Dallas. Um, you had those games that you knew were going to be knocked down, drag out. There wasn't a blowout coming. You knew that this was going to come down to the very end, and somebody was going to make a big play, and it was going to force the win. So yeah, I mean, right now, I I think they're trying to make it too backyardy. They would rather it be 35-31.
I, right. Like I said, it changed with the times. And now with fantasy football, I think fantasy football played a lot into these roles
Maybe.
because when it was low scoring, it was kind of boring to talk about. If you were like had a whole team and you only put up 56 points and got the win, it was like, what the hell is this? But now you're putting up like 130, 140, and the other guy's putting up 130, 140, and you're like, this is a good game.
Oh, but see, to me back then, that was when it was more knowledge, less luck when it came to your fantasy football because
Oh, you had to
you
buy the
had to know. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you had to know. You had to know your running backs. You had to know, your receivers. Your tight ends weren't used at all.
no
If you weren't named Kellen Winslow, you weren't being used.
Marcus
Hmm?
Pollard was a big tight end then because he had Manning. Um, he was one of your top
Yeah,
getters. Jason
Antonio Gates.
Jason Witten was another
Hmm.
one. Antonio Gates, Rob Gronkowski,
Tony
um,
Gonzalez.
Tony G. Absolutely. There's only five, and then after that, you're like, I can get one of these bums way later.
Right, but you had to know your running backs, you had to know your quarterbacks, you had to know your receivers, you had to know your defenses, especially if you were doing team defenses. You had to play a lot smarter instead of saying, okay, there's 30 wide receivers that you could take in this draft that are all going to get you big numbers. Go. You had 15. You had probably 10 receivers that were going to get you big numbers because they didn't pass a lot. You had the guys in Miami with Marino, you had the guys in San Diego with Fouts or with Rivers, guys like that. But Kike Hernandez just hit another homer. But you have all this stuff with those guys that you had to pay attention to.
What's the score, Rich? Give us the update real quick.
4-0 Dodgers, 2-run bomb for Kike Hernandez in the top of the sixth. At Shea Stadium or City Field, I guess it is now. Series is tied at a game apiece. And if that fence was another 2 feet further back, it doesn't go out.
That's why they're
Yep, landed in the first row.
that's why the Dodgers cap them.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? How some guys are just their playoff guys.
Kiki Hernandez streak. I
You
call him streak.
know, uh, Dave Roberts was like that. The guy that's the manager of the Dodgers right now.
Right.
Manny, or not Man, Alex Cora when he was, Yuli Gurriel with the Astros. Um, they weren't the biggest names, but by God, playoff time rolled around, man, and it was like they were Hall of Fame players.
Right.
And then you had Hall of Fame players that couldn't hit the ball with a tennis racket.
That's stolen base. That's stolen base in '04 for the Red Sox.
Turned turned everything around.
Earned the whole series.
Yeah. I mean, that's like Otani right now. Otani and Judge are both hitting horribly right
Well, Judge
now.
hit tonight,
Otani's at 207 and Judge is at 230.
but they both hit bombs.
Judge hit one yesterday. I don't think Otani's hit one yet in this series.
Maybe I'm thinking of the first series.
I know he hit one in the first series. I don't think he hit one in this series. And I
I,
think he just oh yeah, that's what I thought. He just hit a foul ball right in the meat and two veg.
okay. All right. Ouch. So Rich, what like unfortunately I only got about 15 minutes left, if that, right now. just because I have
No
shit to
problem.
so what are your thoughts on this game on Sunday? Are we gonna win? We gonna lose? Um, are they gonna do quarter quarter? Are we gonna see every other possession new quarter?
I am hoping, praying on everything that I know and do that it's going to be Fields under center. And I think the Steelers win this game. I think that the defense causes all kinds of havoc with that offensive line. Doesn't give Rodgers a lot of time to get the ball to all those weapons. Give me the Steelers. Oh, wow. Let's say 17-14.
I I don't know if Wilson's under center. I don't feel good about this at all.
Oh, me neither.
I don't feel good about it at all. I feel that I mean obviously they're not going to trade Mike Williams by Sunday. We could be in a world of shit trying to keep up with B. Allen, B. Hall in the backfield, trying to keep up with Conklin now, Williams, um, their other guy, Alan Lazard, and then the new weapon Adams.
Mhm.
I feel we could be in a world of shit.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say we're gonna win, but at the same time, I want to say we're gonna lose. Like on paper, I believe I had this as a win, but on the new paper, I feel we could be in a real shit.
Yeah.
And this is just like the Dallas game. I had it as a chalk loss on the paper before the season started, and I should have never changed my mind. I I know
Well,
you're gonna shake your head, but that was just one of those games. Like there's too many weapons on this team.
yeah.
We let
No,
Rico
they
Dowdle run
well,
for 80 yards against us. We watched Madison, who kind of a bum, run for a good bit of yardage again. Now all of a sudden we're going up against a real young two-headed monster named Brees Hall and B. Allen, who are only going to get harder to cover now with Adams in the lineup.
you have a point there. I mean, the Cowboy game they should have won simply on the fact of the turnover battle. Um, I mean, you go 4 to nothing in turnovers and lose. That's not good.
No,
That's why I said when I posted on my Twitter account right after the game, and everybody's like, "That's all you got to say." I said, "You got to capitalize on mistakes. If they capitalized on the mistakes the Cowboys made, that last drive would have been a moot point."
right. And I think we're going to have some trouble.
Oh,
I
I'm
do.
not saying this game's going to be easy, whether it's Fields or Wilson. I'm with you. I agree 100%.
And
100%.
and I mean we got the Ravens knocking down the door. Here they come. And they look good. They do look good though. I
Yeah,
mean
and
that
since he's getting better,
right. T. Higgins is playing like he's not on the team. Well, he's on the team bus now. He's not playing like he's on that restricted free agent contract.
right?
Dude, his hand, like T. Higgins, he's a beast.
Oh
That dude,
yeah,
that dude, that dude. Did you see some of them catches last week? Holy
yep.
cow! He was playing lights out, and it would just blow me away.
If they would have had any sort of consistent defense when you had Burrow, Mixon, Boyd, Chase, and Higgins, if they'd have had any kind of consistent defense, they'd have been to more than one Super Bowl.
This Chase Brown kid's no joke. A lot better than Zach Moss. So I
Yeah.
mean, they got some weapons too. We could be in real trouble coming on the
Well,
back.
and that's why. Well, and remember, that's why I said at the beginning of the year, They had to make their hay the first half of the season
We
because
both
I
we
had them going. I had them going 3-6 or 4-5 in the last 10 games, 9 games.
the backside of the schedule is where I have the majority of our losses.
Me too.
But a lot of teams have been revamped and revamped since we've done our picks.
Well, but we've also had one team go completely straight down the toilet. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 either.
We have.
In Cleveland. So for the one team in Washington that has gotten better in the upcoming schedule, for the one team in the Commanders, you got two against Cleveland that
We better
unless they do something major, those are going to be walks.
we better take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, Rich. I'm behind you, man. Like, but I just feel that this week's going to be a challenge.
Oh, I have no doubt it's going to be a challenge. I thought it was going to be a challenge at the beginning, but I still thought the Steelers were the better team simply on their defense.
I did too.
Um,
I did too until they picked up this weapon. And when this weapon wants to play football, he's a top 3 wide receiver in the league. But when
yeah.
he fakes a quad injury, I mean a hamstring injury, and we all know it because he wants out.
Well, but see, that's why I think Joey Porter's got to be all over him. Um, just simply because of that exact thing. We all know Adams is going to be targeting him. So you're going to have Porter on him. You're probably going to have to put Minka on Lazard, um, and play it from there. Uh, See what happens. If Mike Williams beats you, okay. If Mike Williams beats you, you can't do much about that. The wild card for me, and I'd have to figure out who in the world is going to cover him, is Garrett Wilson. That's the guy that scares me in this game on the offensive side for the Jets is Garrett Wilson.
They got weapons. It's scary. But do they have an offensive coordinator that knows how to call plays? Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be interesting.
It is. It
What,
is.
real quick, Rich, you might be able to look that up quicker. What is Aaron Rodgers' record against the Steelers?
Let's see. I know of at least one win.
Yeah, we both do. It
Um,
happen in Dallas.
Rodgers is 1-1 against the Steelers in his career. One and one.
Can't be. 2-1.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's regular season 1-1. He's actually 2-1.
Yeah, he's 2-1 against us. But we haven't seen Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers 21 in Green Bay.
yeah. 2021 and then 2009 and then of course 2006.
So wait, you're telling me we beat Rodgers and then they beat us in the Super Bowl?
No, 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 no.
In 2009?
2006 was the Super Bowl. Or
2009.
no, 2009. That's right. 2009 was the Super Bowl.
2010 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
We played them that season.
yeah, yeah. We beat them in the regular season and lost to them in the Super Bowl. That's right. That's right. Because if I remember right, that was the next to the last regular season game.
12/20/09. Yeah. That was in Lambeau, right?
Believe so.
That was the Palomalu interception to seal the deal, I believe.
2009. La 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 la. And we were only 9-7 in 2009. Packers was the third to the last game at home. 37-36 win.
Yeah, I think Palomalu picked off Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game, if I'm remembering correctly.
Let's see.
I'm not going to tell you that stat.
See if I can find any info on that. Oh, here we go. Box score. Opponent box score. You got to love Football Reference.
Look up play-by-play. Just go to the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That's if I'm recalling right. I mean, that's almost 14 years ago.
There were no interceptions in that game, either side.
Okay, I just thought Palomalu. I mean, he had so many great plays.
Yeah. Let's see. Polomalu had did not play in that game.
Really? Hmm.
Did not play in that game.
Okay. Like I said, it was 14 years ago. Memory.
Um,
A certain Sunday on 2009. I barely remember.
yeah, Hampton. Yeah, tell me if you've heard this one before. Hampton and Woodley were your leading tacklers.
Those were some good.
We've heard that one a ton of times.
I'll have to find that picture of me and Woodley, or me and Ferrier. I'll have to find that picture.
Nice. Yeah, your starting strong safety that day was Tyrone Carter.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That Rich. Like I said, I really have to get
Yeah.
off here.
No, I'm good when you are, man.
All right. But Rich, since I guess you're going to close it out. I am at Sports Talking It. You can find us on Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Um, I know we were supposed to have our guest tonight, but sometimes stuff happens, and that got rescheduled till next Wednesday. So yeah, should be good next Wednesday. He did tell me that we were good to go for that. But he told me we were good to go today. But unfortunate circumstances lead us to sometimes not getting the guest. But yeah,
The
you can
beauty
find
of live broadcasts.
yeah. But anyway, Rich, how do people get you, buddy?
Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today, at Go Big Go Home Pod. On Facebook, it's just my name, Rich Richardson. Uh, as always, Tuesday nights we've got open mic on Driving to the Top Productions. Whether you're going through YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or wherever you're getting your podcast from, hit us up all over there. Ask us questions. If you got a question you want us to cover in next week's open mic or next week's Pirates Steeler chat, let us know, and we're more than happy to cover it. We'll make you famous.
We'll even bring you on the show if you want to pop on and ask a question that way.
There you
Um,
go.
but anyway, Rich, go ahead, hit the end stream button, and we will see everyone next week.
See y'all next week.
Don't play an outro video. We don't have